Hi everyone. Today is Thursday, September the 29th, 2022. And I heard a very interesting question yesterday that I want to take a few moments to answer. The question was, what does it mean when someone says, they're trying to inflate away the debt? How do you inflate away debt? So I know that concept may seem very intuitive to someone who's trained in finance, but to someone else it may sound like hocus pocus magic. So here's how it goes, okay? So first of all, what is debt? In the way the current system is created, debt is actually used as money, as currency, okay? Because when you think of money, so let's back it up from what is debt to what is money. There's money has to have three properties. That's like true money has to have three properties, right? Store of value, medium of exchange. What is the third? Medium of exchange, store of value, and what, like interchangeability, inoperability? There's a word for it. It's not interoperability, but blanking on the word. But it's something like same quality, same thing. Like you can't say banana is money because you can have banana of one grade versus another grade versus a ripe banana or unripe banana, or like a good quality, bad quality, whatever. So it has to be like standard in that sense, and there's a really nice word for it. When I remember, I will write it in a pinned comment. But anyways, it has to have those three things, okay? So in that sense, it's like if you think of dollar as money, it's like it should hold its value. It should be able to be exchanged. Like if I give you $1 or you give me $1, I will accept it, and then it should be on the uniform, like same paper, same like a thing that is standard and recognizable and all that. But the dollar is not true money, or it has not been true money since 1971, when Nixon closed the gold window, which is he stopped the exchange of, because the dollar used to be as good as gold. What do you mean when you say like, someone is as good as gold? Well, that thing came from the dollar is as good as gold, because back in the day you used to be able to exchange a $20 note for 1 ounce of gold. Okay, 1 ounce of pure gold. So 0.9999, 4 nines fine gold. 1 ounce equals $20. Then when this is in 1932, then FDR told everyone, hey, we're going to, instead of using the gold coins, we're going to use paper, and it's going to be perfectly fine, it's going to be exchangeable and this and that. People turned it in, then he outlawed it. After they turned it in, he revalued 1 ounce to $35, and then after that he made it an offense in America to even have gold in this, unless you had like gold jewelry and whatever, but basically it was you can't hold it anymore, and he stopped that. And since that time, but the international thing remained, and I think the last time it was valued at was like $35 per ounce when it was used as the international exchange, which means if America buys something or bought something, I shouldn't say buys because that's not the case anymore. So if America would buy something that was equivalent of 1 ounce of gold as imports from a foreign country, then America had to pay them, that $35, say, but you could swap it for 1 ounce of gold. And then it got to a point where America realized that, oh crap, if we keep up our ridiculous consumption, as the 1950s, as the 1960s, the Vietnam War and all of that, right? If we keep that whole Great Society and all of that BS that they did in the 1960s, if we keep up all of that, then all our gold will have to go abroad. And so it was Nixon. Nixon in 1971 gave this great speech and said, "I'm going to defend the dollar. I have instructed Treasury Secretary Colin Connolly to suspend temporarily the convertibility of all gold dollars." And he closed the gold window in the beautiful American metaphors that only Americans can make, which basically what he meant was, we are defaulting. We are breaking our promise. We said that you can trade back $35 of paper for 1 ounce of gold, but guess what? We lied. That's what Nixon really said in American English. Okay, but let me get off my soapbox. Back to the question at hand. So, what is money? Money has to have these 3 qualities. Now, what is debt? Now, what they did since 1971 is they made it so that debt is used as money. Now, what do I mean by that? When you go to a bank and say you're buying a house, and you are buying a house and you have to put down 20% for your house. So let's assume that your house is $100,000. And so you have saved up $20,000. Now, I know I'm recording this in the Bay Area of California, and if you're also in California and you say $100,000 for a house, what are you smoking? No, I'm just trying to keep the math simple here, okay? I can say 1 million, but why bother, right? It's all about the ratios. It doesn't even matter. Anyway, so it's a $100,000 house, and you have to put down $20,000. So you've saved up $20,000, and you go to the bank, or you go to a real estate agent. He gets you pre-qualified at the bank. What does this pre-qualify mean? So what this means is that the bank says, okay, you have a job that is paying you this much. The ratio is you have to be earning in your paycheck. Your inflow has to be 3 times of what your outflow will be for your mortgage. Okay, so if you are making $9,000 per month, then you can have a mortgage where your monthly payment is $3,000, because 1/3, right? And so then you back calculate that to what does that mean in terms of so let's say right now the interest rate is 6 or 7%, but oh gosh, so what would that, so $3,000 of a payment, monthly payment, means that you'd qualify for a loan of about 300,000. No, like $150,000 loan you can qualify for if your payment needs to be $3,000. And okay, there's a lot of subtle factors in there, as in like how much is your principal, how much is your interest, and all that. But so it's like, okay, fine, great. So you qualify for that loan, right? So now, what just happened there? What happened was that and then now you have the house, okay. But what the bank did there in giving you this, in issuing you this loan of, let's say, 80,000, that 80,000 is created money. Why am I saying that? Because then you buy your house, okay, and then say you take a home equity line of credit. What are you taking the home equity line of credit on, right? You're taking it on your house, but you could say, well, but the house is not paid for. Like, what are you doing? You're taking a loan on a loan. So this is where when I say that money these days, debt is used as a proxy for money, credits, okay, your credit. And I don't mean it yet in the dark social credit score type of way. I just mean your ability to pay back. That ability to pay back is what creates money. So let that sink in for a moment. So if the economy is booming, if everything is going up, if there's the ability to get jobs and progress and raises and promotions and all that good stuff, then basically every time, you know, and this is why, by the way, like every time you buy any random thing, you get a pop-up on your phone that says, you know, pay over time. Why? Because when you pay something over time, yeah, you're getting charged a shit ton of interest, like whatever it is, 20% or something ridiculous that's not worth it. But because just think about it, okay, that means that if you bought something ridiculous like a dress or something and you said pay over time, that means forget your 10% discount that you got on the thing. If you're paying 20% interest, what that actually means is that you are paying a 20%, like you're paying 20% premium on that dress that you just bought for 10% off, which is stupid if you ask me. Anyways, so, or shoes or whatever, you know, whatever is your jam. So yeah, but not to get off tangent here. When you but what they're trying to do when they do that, and they say, like, you know, hey, pay over time, they and say you don't, you know, instead of paying whatever it is, you know, say $100, you don't pay $100, and you say, fine, I'll pay, you know, $150 over time. Now what you have actually done there is you have created money. You have created money of that additional $50, and since you've not paid that $100, you've also created $100 in the system. So you've created, so the consumer has created $150 of money, i.e. debt, in the system. You see, this is why America is such a consumer-driven economy, because the more debt a consumer takes on with the promise to pay back in the future, that creates money. Okay, but now that is just as the petty retail consumer who, you know, is, as far as you know, as far as the big boys are concerned, we're not too big to fail, right? Who are the ones that are too big to fail? It is the big, globally, systemically important banks and systemically important organizations. And what is systemically important? Systemically important means that they are so interconnected to the entire system, hence systemically important, that they are too important to fail. So now what does that mean? So what that means is, so say I took a loan on $150. So I said, you know, I didn't take a loan on $150, but I actually did. If I do this, you know, pay over time thing, I've created $150 of debt in the system, right, of money. Now suppose, okay, I lose my job, I declare bankruptcy, whatever, I can't pay it. What happens? That default, right, it kills the $150. That means now the bank or whatever has to write it off as a loss. They can't say, oh, fine, we'll just take it out of our pockets somewhere. No, they have to write it off. This is why they say, like, write down losses, write down debts. That's what all those write downs mean. So when you're writing down such things, you're basically killing money. You're saying, well, yeah, bad debt, can't get it back. Here's the thing. This is why, like I'm saying, like, we people are not too big to fail. But the GSIBs, the globally systemically important banks, the GSIB, why are they too big to fail? Now, if a globally systemically important bank says, oh shit, we have these many quadrillion, and yeah, we actually have a quadrillion, actually a few quadrillion dollars of derivative debts. What are derivative debts? So now suppose this place that is that extended this loan to me, of this, like, oh, buy your dress over time. Okay, they do this to a bunch of other people. Well, the most common one actually is on housing. The what is it called? The mortgage-backed securities is what they call it, right? Which means they have all these promises that people will pay back the mortgages. In my example that I said, 80,000, and then somebody else said something else, and and all these people have all these not small mortgages, but like collectively, like all these mortgages. So suppose one bank has given out, like, $1 billion worth in mortgages. That is considered an asset, right? If that makes your head spin, I'll say it again. These loans that the banks have given out to all these people, right, the mortgage-backed securities, they are all assets, right? I know I made just a switch suddenly from house to clothing and back from clothing to the houses again, but just stick with me here, okay? So a mortgage-backed security, what is that? It's like, okay, so say you made out all these loans to people, but the bank is expecting these loans back, right, with interest. So it's an asset for them because they are expecting it back. It's a liability, well, it's not an asset yet that they've collected, but they are going to get it back, or that's what they assume, unless the whole world declares bankruptcy. Then they are really screwed. But then, okay, so this is where I'm going with this. So they take all those mortgages, then they create a new financial product, a derivative over and above that, and then they sell that to people in their pension plans, in their retirement schemes, and this and that, because they say, well, so it's like leverage upon leverage. And this is where I'm saying we have over a quadrillion of that. Now, let that sink in. You have over a quadrillion of this kind of derivative debt. Now, if one of those type of entities say, yeah, sorry, we can't, we can't meet our obligation. And what is their obligation? Because they owe this to like pension plans and 401ks and all of this. Now, if they say, too bad, so sad, we can't do this, and if they go bust, you understand now why it is globally, systemically important. Now, there's a reason why I'm giving you all this background to answer your very simple question, which was, well, why do you say that, like, what do you mean when you say they could inflate away the debt? So, suppose now you take all of this, billions upon billions and trillions and whatever, okay? And let's say you have to make a payment of let's go with our old example of $3,000 a month to pay that mortgage. Now, I'm just a little person who's taking it at 3%. Suppose I'm a big bank who managed to get that loan at 0%, or the government, right? at 0%. They don't pay anything for these loans. But now suddenly, because all these people have all this stuff and all this extra layers upon layers upon layers is created, and because of this, everything costs more, right? And there's high inflation in the market, so-called inflation, because that's not really what inflation is. That is price increasing, okay? But yeah, sure, price inflation. But now, if you are paying back that same amount with a much higher base, because now you are quote unquote earning more and your intake is more, that this 3,000 becomes almost nothing, assuming at 0% interest. I don't know if I'm doing a good enough job of explaining this. Okay, I'm going to give you another data point, and we'll see if it helps. So in the year 2000, okay, in the year 2000, 1 ounce of gold was $200 per ounce. And gold actually is the true measure of purchasing power or inflation, because gold has this magical ability that it happens to the quantity of gold that is mined and available and all that, or that turns up, happens to coincide precisely with the population of the planet. It's a very magical phenomenon, I think. Apparently also, and I heard this on a very wild, so I've not verified it, but I heard this from a credible source, that actually within our hearts, there is like whatever, like a gram or 2 grams or whatever of gold. Really, like I was like, what? Wow, okay. That's wild, I thought. But yeah, but there is gold in human hearts. Like that's just, it's there. And I thought, wow, that is pretty wild and cool, and that would explain why this precise phenomenon of gold supply and population. So I thought that was interesting. Anyways, going off on a tangent, but what's new, right? So in 1971, what was the price of gold? 35, or what was the exchange rate between gold money and US debt money? 35 USD to 1 ounce of gold. And in the year 2000, it was 200. Now, let's say, and earlier this year it was 2000. So, $2,000 to buy 1 ounce of gold. And in 1930, it was $20 to buy 1 ounce of gold. You see the exponentiality here? 20 to 1, 200 to 1, 2,000 to 1. Jesus. So what does this mean? Suppose you had, and think of gold as the measure of inflation, because it truly is. So if in 1930 you exchanged $20 bills, you took a $20 bill, or you took a loan. Yeah, let me stick with the theme here, sorry. If you took a loan in 1930 of let's say $200, okay, and you bought 10 ounces of gold, and now you have to pay back that loan, right? So suppose you took a $100-year loan, okay, and you said, okay, in 100 years I will pay you back, what was it, $200 But then you didn't just sit on your ass with that $200. You went and you bought 10 ounces of gold. And then the year 2000 came around, and this, your money was still not due. Then the year 2030 comes around, and now your $200 loan for your 100-year loan of $200 comes due. Now, do you see how you've inflated away the debt? That is how you inflate away the debt. Because now your 10 ounces of gold, it's worth what, let's assume, okay, with premiums, whatever, 2,000 per ounce at current-ish or this year's rate. Because good luck trying to buy it for less than $2,000 an ounce, no matter what the spot price is, okay? And by 2030, I don't even want to imagine what the price will be, but okay. So, your loan, you pay back the $200. Now, how much do you have to sell of your gold in order to do that? Like hardly like 1/10 of an ounce, right? That is how you inflate away the debt. I hope that helps. And if you have any further questions, let me know. And thank you again for listening. Take care. Bye.